This is the Orioles Postcast, your instant game reaction for the Baltimore Orioles. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Friday here from the Orioles Postcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. My name is Luke Slabaugh, and if you're new here, we're coming on 100 episodes strong here, doing instant post-game reaction here for Locked On Orioles. Today, we're diving into a 1-0 loss at the hands of the Chicago Cubs. The Orioles up to the friendly confines on the north side of Chicago, and a day after the trade deadline that shook up the chemistry and makeup of this roster. Longtime Orioles Cedric Mullins gone to New York to play for the Mets. Pitchers like Charlie Morton headed to Detroit. Ramon Laureano, the leading home run hitter, along with Cedric Mullins, out to San Diego. Ryan O'Hearn with him. Andrew Kittredge switching hotels in Chicago to pitch for the Chicago Cubs today against his former team. Of course, all that and more here as we discuss this 1-0 loss to the Cubs. My name's Luke Slabaugh, by the way. I'm the post-game host here. We stream live to YouTube. We're available on demand wherever you get your podcasts for free. Saw some anger pregame in the chat as O's fans try to vent out this group therapy. You've had 6 key players traded away, and this roster for the next 2 months is going to look a little bit different. There's going to be some changes significantly in the bench and in the bullpen as the O's try to do a patchwork bullpen for 2 months and try to regroup for 2026. One player who figures to be a major player in those plans is left-hander Trevor Rogers, and wow, he dazzled today.
This is what you'll be talking about.
And since the postseason is already a foregone conclusion, it's not happening this year with the O's being sellers. What do you have to look forward to in 2026? It's this guy, acquired for Kyle Stowers and Connor Norby at last year's trade deadline. Trevor Rogers has come into his own, and this 9th start of the year for him in 2025 was his best start. In terms of results, not the game you want. The offense did not back him up. However, I've seen it from fans and media alike today. Trevor Rogers deserved better. Changeup was a big deal for him. In fact, second time through the order, struck out 3 Cubs batters on the changeup. Complemented the fastball really well, hitting 94 miles an hour with that 4-seamer. And on a day where the wind was all but blowing in, there was one little alley in left near the basket where the wind was poking out just a ton, pushing out maybe 2 miles an hour towards the left field fence. Everything else was coming in. And for Trevor Rogers' Wrigley Field debut and first time facing the Cubs in his career, was very comfortable at the top of the zone. Circle change working in tandem with that fastball. And from Jump Street, Rogers was nails. 8-pitch first inning, didn't phase him at all, going up against the likes of Kyle Tucker, Seiya Suzuki, Nico Horner. A really good 1-9 offense that the Cubs have. Among the best in the league in runners in scoring position. I believe still number 1 in the league in run differential. Trevor Rogers was great out the gate. The only misstep in the bottom of the second that we'll get into just now.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
One of the downsides of working up in the zone is that you've got to still hit your spots. If you don't have good fastball command at the top of the zone, you will get burnt. And when it's an off-speed pitch and you're hanging stuff up there and it doesn't quite get where you want to, you're not challenging someone in the upper third, they're going to know about it. And major league hitters like Carson Kelly are going to be like that on white on rice. Such is the case in the bottom of the second. Carson Kelly, longtime Cardinals prospect, former Diamondback, hits a changeup off the left field wall, maybe hit it into that slight jet stream. Definitely a scary sound off the bat, and it looked like it was headed out. Maybe on another day it would have. Pete Crow Armstrong then gets a sinker that he takes right center field, hits off the warning track. StatCast projected that had there not been wind blowing in, that would have been out by a country mile. Would have been a 2-0 game for sure. This skids off the warning track, and Carson Kelly given the stop sign at third base by Quentin Berry, their third base coach. So you got runners on second and third with no one out. Leave it to Trevor Rogers to try to work his way out of this. Strikes out Dansby Swanson on a 4-seam fastball outside, 94 miles an hour. And then Ian Happ, a longtime staple for the Chicago Cubs, former first round pick for them in 2015. First pitch fastball, it's up, maybe not up high enough at 93. And Ian's a good hitter. He knows how to take it opposite field, sends it out to Tyler O'Neill and right. Carson Kelly, not a fast runner, and O'Neill does play this ball well. He gets behind it, gets some momentum, charges in. He rockets the ball, and the throw likely would have beaten Kelly to the plate, but it's offline and up the line. So Kelly can score with absolutely no problem, makes it 1-0. And that's the only thing that Trevor Rogers did wrong. The Cubs go 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position against Rogers. And again, that second time through the lineup, absolute nails. Getting Dansby Swanson to ground out weakly on a changeup, striking out Michael Busch, looking on a fastball high, retired 12 consecutive Cubs hitters through the bottom of the fifth, and did not get a 3-ball count all game. That's how nails Trevor Rogers was. The command was there. 8 strikeouts ties a season high. This was everything that you wanted. And as you look forward to 2026, you want Trevor Rogers there as a bottom to mid rotation starter. Now, if the wind's blowing out and you're missing up that way, well, this would be a high scoring 13-12 affair. The thing that surprises me the most is how fast this game went. We're looking at an hour 50, maybe a little under that. And this show got on late today because I was scrambling to get my notes together and set this whole thing up. So Trevor Rogers deserved a whole lot better. A lot of moves made by the Orioles yesterday at the trade deadline. I assume you've listened to or watched Connor's excellent deadline live show. Broke down every single play, or trade rather, and the players that the O's got back. Rebuilding that farm system and got some excellent prospects to fill out the organizational depth. Boston Bateman, of course, being the headliner. That guy has top of the rotation potential, and that pleases me that they were able to get him in a trade. But coming up, we're going to talk about these new look Orioles lifeless at the plate. With the wind blowing in and going up against a former first round draft pick in Cade Horton, a number 7 overall pick, a few picks after Jackson Holiday. How he had success against them, the major league debut of Jeremiah Jackson, and we'll look ahead to Saturday's game. Day baseball all weekend at Wrigley Field. This is the Baltimore Orioles postcast. Show is brought to you by 5 Hour Energy Transfusion. Brings the bold grape, ginger, and lime flavor of your favorite golf drink, minus the alcohol, into a quick, energizing shot. Whether you're sinking birdies or just making memories with friends, this one's a hole-in-one for your energy game. Sometimes you just need that extra boost on the golf course. Between you and me, have not played 18 holes since the summer of 2006 with my late grandpa Dan, who was a diehard Chicago Cubs fan. Used to go to Wrigley together, and on days like that, I needed a 5 Hour Energy Transfusion. Couldn't get it, wasn't invented yet. If you go to 5hourenergy.com today, that is the number 5hourenergy.com. You can use my promo code LOCKEDONGolf, that's all one word, LOCKEDONGolf, to receive 20% off your order. This offer is only valid until September 30th on one order and cannot be used with other promotions. The code is not good on subscription orders. Whether you're meeting up with friends or trying to turn 18 holes into 36, get the energizing boost you need to power through. Order transfusion flavored 5 Hour Energy shots today. Transfusion, huh? Welcome back to the Baltimore Orioles postcast. If you're listening on demand, watching here on YouTube, go ahead, leave a comment. Let me know where you're watching from. Thoughts on the trade deadline yesterday and thoughts on this Baltimore Orioles squad moving towards the rest of 2025. 2 months to go. 35-32 under interim manager Tony Mansolino. They've played decent ball. The problem with losing your bench depth and your best hitter in Ramon Laureano is that on days like these, you could be reliant on the long ball. Such was the case against right-hander Cade Horton, who's got this nice snappy delivery, fastball touching at 98 at one point, and he's got the breaking stuff to offset it. Going to a curveball and a sweeper at 84 miles an hour, it had the O's off balance. If you're going to get to Cade Horton, you have to get to him early. And to the O's credit, they had a good eye at the plate in the top of the first. Jackson Holliday walks on 5 pitches. Jordan Westburg promptly strikes out on a sweeper, and Holliday steals second base with Gunnar Henderson at the plate. Gunnar lays off a pitch on a 3-2 curveball. He walks, and it's up to Adley Rutschman and Tyler O'Neill to string some hits together. Adley flies out to center field, and Tyler O'Neill pouncing on a high fastball that otherwise probably would have left the yard. And O'Neill's played many games and series against the Cubs in his time. He knows how this park plays. And with the power surge that he's been on, perhaps thought that he could get some bicep strength behind these hits. You even go to the very final out of the game against right-hander Daniel Palencia. Still a 1-0 game. That score never changed after the second. Adley Rutschman with 1 out. Oh, excuse me, 2 outs. Gets a 2-0 fastball in the heart of the plate. And rather than try to turn around on it or loft it to center field, he takes it down the left field line for a double, a well-laced line drive, 99 miles an hour off the bat, offsetting 100 miles an hour from Palencia. Gets to second base with 2 outs. And O'Neill cranks the pitch he sees the best out into left field, and again, going at the tip of the warning track and just buffeted down by that wind jet stream. Ian Happ makes the final out of the game as the O's, go down to their last swing and their last breath. It is what it is. Cade Horton pitched well. It's no secret that the Cubs are preserving him for an extended postseason run. And having talked with some people in the industry, it seemed that the Cubs would have liked to have gotten a starter or maybe someone who can do long relief like a Charlie Morton or Zach Eflin, who is on the IL again and will stay with the Orioles for the remainder of the season. Horton only gives up 2 hits and goes 5 innings of shutout ball, 3 walks, and 3 strikeouts. Increases that scoreless inning streak to 17 for him. And give it to home plate umpire Doug Eddings. He had a very wide strike zone, was generous to both the Cubs and the Orioles on the fringes of the strike zone, didn't burn either team. He gave Trevor Rogers the outside call, and he did the same for Horton. And the Cubs patchwork bullpen that VP of Baseball Ops Jed Hoyer has assembled very smartly for this stretch run. Andrew Kittredge also gets the 7th against his former team. A game after being traded, gets Adley Rutschman to fly out to left on a slider, strikes at O'Neill on a slider that bounces off the plate, dances and gets O'Neill dancing to the dugout, and Colton Cowser striking out looking on a slider inside. Recognizing the breaking ball out of Kittredge's hand, an issue for Cowser, and it has been all season for him getting to that off-speed pitch. Major league debut made for Jeremiah Jackson. He was recalled earlier in the year, whereas number 82 did not make his debut the first time around he was called, was sent back down to Norfolk. And all he did this year was hitting over 300 with 15 home runs between AA Chesapeake and AAA Norfolk for the Tides. And got one of the Orioles' 3 hits today. Let's go to it. Top of the third was his first at bat. Flew out to first base, and Michael Busch there near foul territory. Let us go to the top of the 5th. Kobe Mayo walks Dylan Carlson, then promptly grounds out into a 5-6-3 double play with third baseman Matt Shaw, former Maryland Terrapin, shading over nearer to second base. Here comes Jeremiah Jackson, breaking ball inside, going up against Cade Horton in his final inning. The bat tool has gotten so much better for Jackson, who's not really a prospect status now at 25, but 0-1 count, saw a sweeper on the first pitch, sees another at 82 miles an hour in on the hands, and he hits a liner off of Matt Shaw, 102 off the bat, ricochets into left field for his first major league hit. He gets to keep that. He is promptly thrown out stealing by Carson Kelly to end the inning. So 1 of 3 hits, Jackson Holliday had a soft single up the middle as well. We mentioned Adley Rutschman, and that's pretty much it. The O's have a bench that's going to be asked to do a lot these final couple of months. Terran Vavra, infielder, recalled. Luis Vazquez recalled. Yaramil Geraldo back in the bullpen, the right-hander pitching to a 2.08 ERA. this year, Elvin Rodriguez, Houston Roth, who is yet to make his debut, Grant Wolfram, and Brandon Young up as well. The O's carry on, and they will look to even this series up. All-day games at Wrigley Field, Chicago, a series that I would have loved to have gone to. Unfortunately, when the planning stage for that started, I went down with an illness. Watch any episode from the first week of July, and you will see that I look very unwell. Right-hander Tomoyuki Sagano is expected to get the bump tomorrow. He's 8-5 with a 4.38 ERA. His counterpart is an all-star, left-hander Matthew Boyd, former Cleveland Guardian, 11-4 this year for the Northsiders with a 2.47 ERA. Boyd got slapped around in his last start, 5 innings pitched at Milwaukee, 5 earned runs and a loss to the Brewers, 1 home run given up as well. That'll do it for us here on the Orioles Postcast. I want to say thank you all for tuning in. It could be interesting, this baseball being played the next couple months. It is go time for the O's reserves and eventually the prospects. One of these days, you'll see Dylan Beavers, eventually Samuel Basayo. Might be a little bit towards the end of this 2-month stretch, but meaningful baseball to be played for a group that is trying to regather itself, recoup, make some splashes in free agency over the offseason, and get back to the playoffs in 2026. That'll do it on this Friday. Quick day game. Final score, the Chicago Cubs 1 and the Baltimore Orioles 0. Good night. Stay safe, and I'll see you right back here tomorrow night.